Mike Caza is with us. He's the owner and coach of Premier Fitness and Performance. Mike, we finally found something to get the Cleveland Browns off the front page here.
Right.
And unfortunately, it's not good if you're a Cleveland Indians fan. So let's talk about it. Corey Kluber, and of course, at this moment, as we're talking, no definitive diagnosis on Corey Kluber. You see what happened? He's got a non-displaced fracture of the right ulna. Well, the right ulna, of course, is the right arm. Tell me what the non-displaced part of this means.
Well, it's good. It means that the bone's in alignment.
Which means when the ball hit him, it just broke at that point, but nothing shattered.
Nothing shattered. Typically when the bone's in alignment, you can usually be pretty optimistic about that in terms of the healing process.
Okay.
But again, every athlete responds differently to different injuries.
All right. Is there, just by what we know at this point, does that mean surgery is in the offing or it's not in the offing? Or it could be in the offing?
It could be, just depending on the severity of it, which is unknown right now. You hope that's the last resort and they can, maybe put it in a sling or,
Well, they put it in a cast last night to travel back from Miami. That's just standard procedure?
It's usually standard procedure, yeah.
All right, so what are the doctors looking for at this point?
I think they're just going to look at the severity of it, exactly where the break's at. And then from there, they'll just decide what the best treatment is for him.
Can you show on the arm where it happened?
Yeah, the ulna is there's two bones of the forearm.
Okay.
The ulna is the outer bone of the forearm. So it looks like he got hit in the middle of the ulna, and the ball's traveling, 102 miles an hour.
Right.
So it's a high velocity ball. Like I said, the good thing is that typically with a lot of those forearm breaks, sometimes both of the bones break. He's lucky that was just the outside bone.
Okay, so here's what concerns me. If it's right in here, and let's say he's throwing 100 pitches, well, he's not going to be throwing 100 pitches for a long time, but when he's throwing the ball, there's going to be a snap of the arm, and I'm just on a regular fastball, and of course on a slider, breaking ball, or whatever. So tell me what the pressure going. It seems to me the pressure point will be right there, right where the ball hit him, or am I off on that?
Yeah, anytime that arm comes through at that type of velocity, there's going to be stress on the whole bone. Like I said, it just depends on exactly where that break is, which will really dictate how much stress there's going to be placed on it.
All right, so if you take a look at the X-rays or MRI or whatever they did last night, theoretically, 3 months from now it'll look the same except everything will be put together?
Yeah, I would be optimistic in saying that,
Is there any rehab on it, or just it is the way it is?
There's definitely going to be rehab on it. Once the bone heals, he'll go through a rehab protocol just to re-strengthen it and get him back up to where he can pitch at full speed.
When they say, they haven't said it yet, but if they say 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, whatever it is, that's based on a whole bunch of sample size, right?
Yes.
Of professional athletes going through the same thing. So how do they come up with a number? How do they come up with 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, or whatever? Is that just based on historically putting all the episodes together and then averaging it out?
Yeah, I think they'll look at historical data, and then they'll also look at the location and the severity of the break, and that really dictates how long it's going to take.
Right.
Again, every athlete, their body's healing mechanisms are different. But typically we'll just look at data from it, the location, the severity of it.
And psychologically, how is it going to be on Corey the first time what do you think he's going to go? Maybe 30 miles an hour the first time, 40 miles next, 50? Just work that up?
Usually they'll do something along the lines of start maybe 30, 40%, 50%, and then just gradually work up from there.
Right.
Being that he's getting world-class care, they'll follow the right steps in terms of getting him back to full velocity. But yeah.
From a PR standpoint, do you think they'll name a number higher than it really is, lower, or normally they're honest about it?
Yeah, normally they're honest about it.
So there's no way to say 3 months and then all of a sudden miraculously it's 2 months and he's healed?
I think in a lot of situations they're going to be conservative with it.
Okay. For real
Just-
reasons as well as PR reasons.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're going to do everything they can to reduce the risk of, reoccurrence of injury.
Okay, Mike,
taking the right
let's
steps.
take a look at the other injury to another starting pitcher, Mike Clevinger, upper back sprain. He began throwing at 60 feet the other day after they told us he wasn't even going to be able to pick up a ball until August. So I assume that's good news that he's doing that.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely pretty promising. If you're starting to throw within 4 weeks, hopefully that continues over the coming weeks,
Right.
and he's back on the mound sooner than what we think.
Is a sprain of the back, is it something to be, again, psychologically more to be worried about, or once they say it's okay, it's okay?
Yeah, I mean, in some situations, a muscle strain can be worse than a break, just because you get a lot of scar tissue that forms at the joint.
Okay.
As a byproduct of that muscle strain. But being that with the care that he's going to get, I wouldn't be too concerned about it. But again, everybody heals different, and we just have to see how he does.
Well, obviously in Kluber's case, you saw the ball hit it and you knew that was going to be a problem. A muscle sprain sometimes different. You don't see when it actually happens, I would think. Did the last game he pitched, the game that he actually came out of, it seemed he was throwing up in the 98 mile an hour range when normally he's 95 to 96. Is that maybe what brought it on, that he went too big on it?
I mean, definitely like a 3 to 4 mile an hour increase in velocity could definitely trigger something like that.
Right.
Those guys are the best athletes in the world, so with that increase in velocity, you can put just a little bit extra strain,
Okay,
especially at the end point on the release.
Right.
Just
So
a little bit more stretch.
if
and
you
torque.
do that, what's more concerning, that the breaking ball or the fastball when it comes back, or is it both the same?
I would say it'd probably be both the same.
Yeah. In the future, is there a way to guard against that? Is a sprain more likely to come back than maybe extra damage to the ulna as Kluber has?
Usually with like a bone break, those usually heal stronger than pre-injury.
Right.
With a muscle strain, I think he's going to be doing everything he can to rehab it properly. In terms of the treatment protocols and the nutrition and the the soft tissue work that they're going to do with him. So, I think they'll both be in good hands and
Okay.
back up.
Tell us about your business, Premier Fitness. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so we work with athletes to improve their sports performance. We help them run faster, get stronger, be more agile.
We're talking about high school kids?
We're talking about primarily middle school and high school kids we work
Okay.
with. We also run a collegiate program, but we really just work on their body, so that they can perform at a higher level with reduced injury risks.
And where are you located?
We are located in Twinsburg on Dutton Drive,
Okay.
and we have about a 5,000 square foot warehouse that we train athletes
Excellent. How can people find you? Website?
in. Our website's premierfitnessoh.com if they
Okay.
want to check us out.
Mike, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Glad to
Mike
catch-
Caza of Premier Fitness.